Indigo is about Gandhiji, what inspired him or motivated him to start the freedom struggle through non-violence. Formal letter writing and the informal letter writing also both. You can choose any one and it carries 5 marks and the prescribed word limit is 50 words. You get 2 extracts from Flamingo. One is from the prose and the other one from the poetry, and 1 extract from Vistas. Hello everyone, I'm Babita Tamaya, your prep school English teacher. As you embark on this exciting journey through class 12, remember that the future belongs to one who dares to dream, to the one who never give up, and to the one who believe in themselves. Without wasting much of our time, now let's delve deep into understand what's there in this academic year. So these are the 2 textbooks which we'll be referring for this academic year, Flamingo and Vistas. Flamingo, it's a course book which helps for the betterment of reading and comprehension skills. Inside the text, we have prose, poetry, autobiography, fiction, non-fiction. Everything is put inside to make you understand or to make your study worthwhile and your time worthwhile. Vistas is just like a supplementary reader. It is in place in order to give you the extensive reading so that you appreciate the stories, whatever is there in the supplementary reader. Both of these 2 textbooks work towards enhancing your higher order language skills. These 2 textbooks are preferred by the NCERT itself. Moving further, so spots to visit. What are we going to study or what are we going to learn in today's session? It is about the prescribed textbooks. I told which are the 2 textbooks. It's Flamingo and Vistas. Flamingo is the core book and Vistas is your supplementary reader. And what's inside this? What is inside the Flamingo and Vistas? What's the examination pattern and how the marks are broken up? How they break the marks for each and every section. All these things we'll be learning in today's session. What is in Flamingo? In Flamingo, we have prose and poetry. These are the few prose and these are the few poetries in Flamingo. So now let's see what does these poetry and prose tell about. I'm not going to talk in brief or I'm not going in depth. I'll just give you a bird view pictures of these. The last lesson speaks about the aftermath of war through the perspective of a small boy. Lost Spring talk about lost childhood of the children. Basically, these children are from rural areas where they are deprived from basic education. Deep Water, how the author over here overcomes his aquaphobia. Rat Trapper talks about the rat seller. How when the world decides to treat him with kindness and he decides to be kind towards them and he decides to be truthful towards them. Indigo is about Gandhiji, what inspired him or motivated him to start the freedom struggle through non-violence. Next we have Poets and Pancakes, the interview, Going Places. These are the few prose from the Flamingo and the poetries are like My Mother at 66, Keeping Quiet, A Thing of Beauty, A Roadside Stand, Aunt Jennifer's Tigers. These are the few prose. So I'm not going to talk or I'm not going to describe everything in depth. You'll be knowing about these stories very shortly. And you'll be learning about the figurative speeches when I take the next classes. All these poets looks like or all these titles looks or sounds very interesting, but some seems to be not so. So what do we have in Vistas? We have the 3rd level, the Tiger King, Journey to the End of the Earth, The Enemy on the Face of It, Memories of Childhood. In that we have The Cutting of My Long Hair, We Too Are Human Beings. These are the few supplementary stories which is there in the vistas. Moving forward, now let's see how the question paper pattern, how the marks are divided. What are the sections you have in your examination question paper? So in English, the question paper or the pattern is into 3 sections. You have section A, section B and section C. What is in section A, C and B? Now let's look into it. In section A, it's a reading skills. So what do we study in section A? In section A, we have reading skills. Reading skills is nothing but an unseen passage. It's a comprehension. It's an unseen passage and it might be based on a MCQs or objective type questions. So this question carries 10 marks. You have to go through with the paragraph or the passage very clearly, line by line and word by word. You have to read, you have to understand the paragraph and then you have to answer the set of questions. It might be a bit difficult. I can give you a hint or a clue how to find out the answer. Before reading the passage, better you just go through with the questions first. Based on the question, try to search the answer in the paragraph so that it might be very easy or it might help you to see or look into the answer in the paragraph very easily. So if you read the paragraph, understand the paragraph, you can fetch 10 on 10. So in the section A, you have 2 unseen passage for 10 marks. Again, you have one more unseen passage and that is also for 10 marks. So there are 10 questions. Each question carries 10 marks. Make sure that you will not lose any marks in the unseen passage. Understand, read the question properly, write the answers up to the question asked. Next, the section B. Section B is about creative writing or your creative writing skills. What is there in the creative writing skills? So now we have the notice writing which is for 5 marks. Out of 2 questions will be given. You have to choose any one and you should write within 50 words. Please stick on to the word limit. Don't try to elaborate more. So notice writing. How to write the notice, what is the format to write the notice, everything will be taught in the next classes. Next, formal and informal invitation, that is for 50 words. Again, it's for 5 marks. Same thing, 2 questions, you have to choose any one. So here, formal and the informal, you have the formal letter writing and the informal letter writing also both. You can choose any one and it carries 5 marks and the prescribed word limit is 50 words. Third one, letter based on verbal or visual input to be answered in approximately 120 to 150 words. Even this also carries 5 marks. So in this section, you have 4 questions. Each question carries 5 marks. Everywhere you have an option, you can choose either of these. Cues are given here. Based on the cues that are given here, it might be a chart or it might be a picture. Based on the visual picture given in the question paper, you need to write a letter and that letter should be in 120 to 150 words and this question carries 5 marks. Next, article or report writing, and it would be descriptive and analytical in nature based on the verbal inputs. Even this question also carries 5 marks. So as I told, you have 4 questions. Each question carries 5 marks. Now how this 5 marks is divided? How we are going to give the marks, that is the 5 marks here. How we break up the marks? It's like this. For the format, for the writing the correct format, you fetch 1 mark. Organization of the ideas, your creative writing, your creative thinking, everything should be in a order. You cannot miss anywhere or any of the answers, or you cannot write upside down where you lose your marks. Your ideas and your creative writing, your languages, everything will be seen and you'll get 1 mark. And for the content, you get 2 marks. Spellings and the grammar. So your spelling should be correct. The sentence, whatever you form, the grammatical error should not be there. For that also you fetch 1 marks. Put together, it is for 5 marks. This is how we break the marks for these writing skills. So section A is your reading skills. You have to read the unseen passage, write the set of 10 questions. Section B is your creative writing skills, where it is completely of the grammar, where you have articles, where you can write notice, or it is a formal or informal letter writing. Everything comes here in the creative writing skills. Now let's see what's there in section C. In section C, it is about variety of questions we have. So what are the questions we have? It might be a multiple choice or objective type questions, short answer type questions, or long answer type questions. This is what you have in your section C. So all these questions will be from your textbook Flamingo and Vistas. Reference to the context. In reference to the context, the question will be based on your Flamingo and the Vistas textbook. So we have one poetry, that is the extract from the Flamingo textbook. A poem, one stanza or one paragraph will be picked from the textbook, and there will be set of few questions, and each question carries 1 mark. Put together, it is for 6 marks. So questions for the poetry will be picked from, or the extracts will be picked from the textbook Flamingo. Next, we have one more question, that is from the prose extract, and that will be from the Vistas. Out of two questions will be given. You have to choose any one. Same thing with the poetry, also that is from the Flamingo textbook. And you have one more prose extract, again from Flamingo. So from Flamingo, you have one prose question and one poetry question, that is the extract. You get 2 extracts from Flamingo. One is from the prose and the other one from the poetry, and 1 extract from Vistas. Next, section C. How the section C is divided. Short answer type question, that is from prose and poetry. In section C, you have short answer type questions. From where the questions are picked? Both from prose and poetry from the textbook Flamingo. From which textbook? From the textbook Flamingo, and the word limit is 40 to 50 words. So you have 6 questions. Out of 6 questions, you should answer any 5. So each question carries 2 marks, and it is for 10 marks. That is the short type answer question. Next, again a short type answer question from prose, that is from the textbook Vista. Again 40 to 50 words is the prescribed word limit, and out of 3 you need to answer 2. From Vista, 3 questions is given, you have to answer 2. From Flamingo, 6 questions is given and you have to answer any 5. Each carries 2 marks. So here it's put together, it's 4 marks from the prose Vistas. One long answer type question from prose and poetry, that is from Flamingo. So long answers you need to write, and the prescribed word limit is 120 to 150 words. So it is for 5 marks. 2 questions given, which out of 2 you have to answer any one. It's the long answer type question, and the question, it might be prose or poetry from the textbook Flamingo. Next, one long answer type question from Vista, again 120 to 150 words. Answer out of 2 any one. 2 questions given, you have to answer any one. Again, it's a long type question answers, and this question carries 5 marks. So put together, this is for 40 marks. That is your section C. Section A is for 20 marks. Section B is for 20 marks, and section C is for 40 marks. So put together, it is for 80 marks. I'm just talking about 80 marks. What is the rest? Where are the rest 20 marks? How do you fetch that 20 marks? So now let's see how do you get the next 20 marks. So the breakup of the marks is like this. Reading skill, as I told, unseen passage. You have 2 unseen passage for 10 marks. So put together it is 20 marks. Next, creative writing skills. That is your section B, where you write articles, notice, formal and informal letters, or the visual clues given on the question paper. You need to write a letter. That is in section B. Literature and supplementary reading text. That is from your Flamingo and Vistas. You have short type, long answers, or MCQs and objective type questions, which is for 40 marks. So total, you'll be writing your paper for 80 marks. So what about the rest 20? How do you fetch that 20 marks? So the rest 20 will be your ASL assessment, that is listening and speaking skills. For the listening skills, an audio will be played, and the audio will be played twice. You have to listen to the audio carefully, and you have to answer a set of questionnaire given to you. In that way, you can fetch 5 marks. And the speaking skills topics will be given. Based on the topic, you need to speak about it. And that is for 5 marks. Put together your ASL, that is your assessment, for 10 marks. And the rest 10 marks is for the project. So put together your internal assessment is for 20 marks. So the total marks is for 100. But you write your answer paper in your annual exam for 80 marks, and the rest 20 will be your internal assessment. That is your listening skill, speaking skill, and the project. I would like to say that when I begin the class, make sure that you will have your textbook, that is Flamingo and Vistas, with a pencil in your hand, so that whenever I say it's very important, make sure that you will underline it. So looking forward for the journey with you all, and excited to meet you all very soon. Thank you.